Welcome. Today we're delighted to have back with us Rob Davidson, CEO of CURE Pharmaceutical. Rob is joining us today with Nancy Duitch. She's CEO and founder of Sera Labs. Both Rob and Nancy are joining us from CURE Pharmaceutical's facility in Southern California. Welcome, Rob. Welcome, Nancy.
Hey, nice to see you.
Good to be on again, Jeff. Nice to see you.
That's great. Yeah, we're glad that Rob is back with us today. If you, our viewers, haven't seen the previous video conversation I had with Rob, I'd encourage you to watch it. It's available at our website, and hopefully it'll be available at the company's website as well. Rob is back with us to share a recent news announcement and provide us with some details. CURE Pharmaceutical has entered into a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, to acquire Nancy's company, Sera Labs. Rob, before we go any further, for our viewers who may not have seen our previous conversation, can you tell us about CURE Pharmaceutical's business?
Yeah, absolutely. So CURE is a broad platform drug delivery technology company, as we discussed, and we are vertically integrated. We have our own manufacturing facility, research and development labs. We can do everything from really concept of a formulation all the way through to commercialization.
Okay. Rob, before we get to Nancy, keep delaying getting to Nancy, can you tell us about the transaction for CURE Pharmaceuticals to purchase her company, Sera Labs?
Absolutely. It's very exciting for us. Nancy has built quite a platform and a brand, Sera Labs. She has distribution channels in a multi-platform approach, direct to consumer, as well as in retail. That's exciting for us for many reasons, for our own products, but also Nancy's really focused on the integrity of the product, the science of the product. So we feel that integration together is going to be a huge plus for not only the marketplace, but the consumers that are buying these typical skincare products, topicals, ingestibles with CBD in it. We're going to integrate our technology into her product line and utilizing Nancy's expertise in branding, marketing, and distribution. So we're pretty excited about that.
That sounds great. Nancy, it's great to have you with us here today. Before we discuss your company, Sera Labs, I found your background sort of fascinating as well, the whole story. And can you tell us about it as well as what led you to form Sera Labs?
Thank you, Jeff, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Basically, I have been involved in health, wellness, beauty, and fitness my entire adult life. And I was always interested in health and wellness for a number of reasons. I had a brother and a sister who both died from long QT syndrome, and which is a genetic heart condition. And my brother at the age of 20 dropped dead 10 days before his 21st birthday. And my sister had cardiac arrest when she was 19, and she survived. And 10 years later, after giving birth to a beautiful little boy, went to sleep one night and never woke up again at the age of 29. And what we discovered within our family is that we have a genetic heart condition, and I have it too. I take medication, I take beta blockers, and I'm fine. But my brother and sister, who were great athletes, were not fine, and they succumbed to this genetic condition. And we have really invested a lot of time, energy, and money, my family and I, into discovering what caused this and how to save and help other people and try to make lemonade out of lemons. And so we started a big foundation, and we raised a lot of money and really invested in all the genetic research and studies and really educational. And it was really important for us educationally to educate doctors that when a young child who's an athlete faints, don't just rub it and just say, hey, that's nothing. It's just a dramatic child, that really to look at it, make sure that you do the EKGs and the Holter monitors. And we have really, and with all the money that we had put into this charity, we discovered most of the genes that cause this disease. And so health and wellness has always been a big part of my life. And so because I was always involved in fitness and health and wellness and beauty, what was interesting for me was finally CBD came around and was an ingredient that could really help improve people's lives, allow you to have a life of health and wellness, and really combine it with other ingredients to actually prove really good results for you, whether it be beauty, whether it be ingestible, or whether it just be a topical pain cream. And we put all the love and care we did into the charity, into the product, so that people do and can have a healthy, really healthy and well-being existence.
That's an incredible story. Nancy, Sera Labs is a company focused on CBD-based beauty, health, wellness, and pet markets. Can you provide us with some insight into the business of Sera Labs today?
It's interesting that you mentioned that. Before I started the company, I had an online skincare company, and I developed, along with a chemist and a product developer, a whole line of beauty products, anti-aging products. And I was searching for a way to make those products better and more efficacious. And what can we do? What can we add to these products to make it a non-commoditized, product line? And so the first thing we did was, when I decided that, hey, CBD may be an option, I went to my manufacturer. I said, hey, can you just throw some CBD into the products? And they laughed at me and said, no, that's not how it works. You've got, large molecules that really need a better delivery system. And so we really started to play around with the formula, change the formulas around. And I was very excited to see the difference in how the product worked. Because I had already sold and had 20,000 active customers online, I was able to send those products out with the CBD and then without the CBD, and do a blind test with those customers. And the remarks came back that were unbelievable with the A and the B split that we did. And so we really came up with, I think, a great formula. It was overwhelming that everybody loved the CBD products. Of course, they didn't even know what CBD was, because that was 2 years ago. And so we have really done a big job with the CBD skincare products. We were probably one of the first people to come out with topical beauty products with a focus on anti-aging. We've been able to not only do a direct-to-consumer program online with this, but we also are selling that product in most of the major retailers that carry skincare. And so from there, we developed pain products. We also decided to develop products that were more target problem solution. So we have products in foot care that you spray the product on your foot, and we put other active ingredients in there to make them more efficacious. So what'll happen is that when you spray it on your foot, let's just say that you've got some pain and aches in your joints, you're able to spray it on, and almost immediately, between the combination of the clinically tested ingredients and the CBD, you really get a pretty quick result from those. And from there, we developed the pet products and our ingestibles, which would be our gummies and our tinctures, which we sell a lot of online right now. And they're doing extremely well.
Okay, Nancy, you touched on your products a little bit, but I understand you have 20 plus products in several product categories. Can we drill down on that a bit?
Sure. In skincare, we have 6 products that we're selling to the retailers and we sell online. We've got a Day and Night Brilliance Cream. We have a Super Booster Serum. We have my favorite product, which is the Radiant Glow, which is a fantastic oil product with marula and argan and tea tree and lavender and
I need some more of that, Nancy.
Yeah, don't we all? And it's like a dry oil. It goes in your skin and it goes right into, it's like soaked up into your skin. You never feel greasy with it. We've got an exfoliating polish, and we have and then we have an eye serum and a lip balm. And that's being sold in most of the retailers that have skincare for CBD. And we just came out with 3 new products, which we're really proud of, in that Sera topical skincare line. and one is a hand mask. Because what's happening today, see this, it's really about opportunity. And we took a look and said, what are the problems people are having now with COVID? Well, I think for a long time, you're gonna have people washing their hands 30, 40 times a day. Every time they feel that they've touched something and they're nervous, people are scared. So what happens is that your hands are one of the places where it shows your age, right? So your décolletage and your hands. And so what we did with this product is we made it an essential oil hand mask that you put a couple drops on a couple times a day, and the difference in your hands and the lines and the dry skin make a big difference. We also developed a eye gel pads so that you put the pads around your eyes and they stay on for 10 minutes and they're soaked in the magic ingredients. And when you take them off, your puffiness goes away. It's not permanent, of course, it's all temporary. Your puffiness goes away, your lines diminish, and you really feel that, you know, one of the things you don't want is you don't want your eyes to be super wrinkly here. There's no reason for that. And then the third item that we did is an overnight mask. And so those are our skincare products, and that's what we're coming out with in the fall, those 3 new products. We then have a pain product, which has active ingredients in it, clinically tested active ingredients in it, as well as the CBD, and all distillate. We use full spectrum hemp in the pain products. And that's a roller, because we like new delivery systems. And I do believe that with Rob's, with CURE, that all the delivery systems that they're going to enhance for us are going to make a better product for the consumer and a better experience for the consumer. And we then have a product called Pedicare. You spray it, like I said before, on your feet, and it really makes your any kind of mobility, joint and ankle pain or joint and muscle pain really diminish. And we have our product, the Cracked Heel Souffle. And it's like a whipped cream that is got, it's delicious. It's got shea butter and great ingredients in it. And again, 300 milligrams of CBD. And you put it on your dry, cracked heels or your elbows or your knees, because those are areas that get extremely dry for people. And we even have one girl in the office who puts it on her shins because she's got super dry skin on her shins. And it really does make that skin super soft. We have our tinctures, we have our pet tinctures, we have our human tinctures, we have our gummies that are, really selling well because they're delicious. And we also have a line, a value proposition line called Gordon's Herbals, where we put half-size products. We decided to put a different brand name on it so it doesn't bastardize the products that we're selling under Sera Labs. And it's got 75 milligrams of CBD in it. And what's great about those products is they're selling at a much lower price for the deep discounters, so that we can have the deep discounters as well as be able to capture the upper end stores.
That's fabulous. I mean, it sounds like a great product line with a lot of products, Nancy, that are differentiated in the marketplace from anything else out there. Am I right on that?
You're 100% right. And please note that I come from a direct-to-consumer background. So my background was in infomercials and selling directly to the consumer for a lot of years. And the one thing we realized was that the products that sold the best were the ones that had a problem, and you were able to solve that problem for the consumer. So we have to look at the consumer when we develop new products, and what are their needs and how can we meet their needs. If we develop products that are excellent, beyond excellent, with great delivery systems, and they really work, which is really where we're always going to with our products, then those are the products that people will come back and rebuy over and over again. And it's expensive to get that first customer. The acquisition cost is very expensive. But when you have a repeat customer because you've given them what they need and you've solved their problems instead of solving your own. So in the old days, it used to be, I want to buy that brand. Now it's the brands have to start thinking about, what can we do for you, the consumer, to enhance your life, make it better, and solve the problems that you have.
Okay, as a follow-up on this direct-to-consumer model, with some of the challenges you just talked about, the customer acquisition costs, et cetera, what caused you to seek that direction out initially? And is it continuing to work for you?
The direct-to-consumer online business has grown tremendously for us. We started out small and grew the business through an opt-in subscription base. We want people to try the product. We are very, very ethical in our marketing. It's very important to have high ethics in marketing. We don't allow anybody to go on a continuity program unless they check the box for us. And we are constantly remarketing and retargeting those people. And we will help people who are veterans and who are on limited paychecks, or somebody that, is really, having hard times. And we will always, always help them out. We give away free product to those people. So for us, it's worked really, really well. We've grown the business. It's funny, since I met Rob, I got to tell you, our business actually doubled from April to May, and then doubled again from May to June. And then, we had a 35% increase in July. And Rob, I don't know, that increase should have been 50%, but it was only.
To add on to what Nancy's saying, if you really look at, the industry as a whole, right, the direct-to-consumer is where it's at now. The pandemic has really increased that critical mass movement towards direct-to-consumer. I mean, you see Amazon, you see all these other companies really taking advantage of that direct-to-consumer approach. I think from a business standpoint, it's sticky. It's gonna continue to progress that way even after the pandemic's over, hopefully soon. But I definitely think that it's sticky, and direct-to-consumer is really the highest growth area of distribution, today.
Okay, that's great. Nancy, as a follow-up on this direct-to-consumer, your products are also on the shelf at a number of retailers, including major retailers, drug chains, and big box stores. I know you can't name names because of confidentiality issues, but can you give us a little background on your retail distribution through retail stores, as well as how you feel about that compared to direct-to-consumer marketing, and where you think the greatest potential is for Sera Labs, especially under CURE Pharmaceutical's umbrella going forward? Sorry to throw that question at you, Nancy.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I really, my background, because it's direct to consumer, and I should mention, I also have a big background in retail. And so I always felt that it was critical in order to sell. When you sell into retail, you need to sell through retail. And how do you sell through retail? And that's through great marketing messaging and through spending money on branding your product. And I like to do all this with as much of an ROI as I possibly can. So that would be a return on my advertising investment. And so I think they work hand in hand. They work together like a hand in a glove. So if you're going to go to retail, you better be able to spend money on advertising, and you better be able to drive that retail sell through. So whereas I can make money online selling my products and really deliver a good, efficacious product to the consumer, that will, if I spend enough money, because we're limited on where we can advertise CBD products to, just because the FDA hasn't come out with any guidelines for anybody, so we're limited. But what that does is it allows me to go to a retailer and say, this is what we're spending on branding our company and on advertising. Now, I'm a big believer in a multi-channel pronged effect anyway. What happens if something happens and the internet goes down, right? Impossible, we all say, but who would have thought we would be stuck in this situation today, right? We have like 8 of the 10 plagues already plaguing us right now in the country, right?
Right.
So I feel as if one works together with the other. And I feel that if you aren't going to be doing all channels of distribution, and I'll give you a good example. So when we market for retailers, we do geo-targeting for those retailers online. We'll do FSIs in the newspapers, not right now, of course, but that's what we would end up doing.
Nancy, can you explain to our viewers what an FSI is, please?
It's a freestanding insert in the newspaper, or you can do it online right now. And what it does is it gives a discount coupon to get you into that store to buy the products. But thank you for reminding me. And I think that you've got to have a multi-pronged approach. So we also hired a company to send brand ambassadors into the store to talk and educate about the product. And education is a very key factor with CBD, because even though they say 15% of the people in the United States know what CBD is, there's 85% who don't know what CBD is. And I still have friends who say, if I put this on my skin, am I going to get high? And I say, no, you're not going to get high from CBD. So it's very important that the educational aspect of this is part of the branding budget that Rob and I have discussed that we're going to go forward with in full force. We had a book written, commissioned on CBD and all the aspects, good and bad, about it. We have created videos for the consumer so they can understand. So you take somebody like me who's a technology dummy, right? If without YouTube, I'm screwed in life, right? Well, people want to know and get educated on what they're doing. So just like if there's a new ingredient in beauty, like hyaluronic acid's been around for 15 years, but people think it's a new ingredient because it took that long to educate. I think we live in an accelerated society, and online is a great way to educate people, get to understand your product, and then they trust you. If you're not selling them all the time, they trust you. And that's what we try to do.
That's a great direction. Nancy, as a bit of a follow-up, I'm particularly intrigued by your digital opt-in subscription model. Can you go over that with us and how it fits into the overall, branding, marketing, sales strategy?
Sure. So we pay we pay certain amounts to acquire a customer. So like I said before, we have multi-channel prong approach that we use. So for SEO, we pay monthly fees. It takes a long time to build that up, but we do get a lot of organic customer business from that. We just got approved for Google Shop, so I'm really excited. So we're starting that the week after next. We do Facebook advertising. We can't advertise CBD on Facebook, but each category that we do, we have a different cost per acquisition on these. So we either pay a cost per click, we pay a cost per acquisition, but we always back into a cost per acquisition, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's email marketing, whether it's Facebook, Google, whatever it is, that's what we back into it. So we know how much it costs us to attain and retain a customer. Now our goal is to make sure, number one, we deliver a great product. So we give people the option to opt in right away for a discount price, so that you get a better price if they opt into the continuity. They can cancel at any time. We follow the rules for Roscoe, which is what the FTC and the FDA make us do. We send out an email 3 days before we ship the product, and we say, we're just about to ship your next product, and if they please call us to cancel if you would like, or email us. So we follow the rules. We're implicit in what we do. And we make sure that we'll send free products out for people. We'll send, newsletters out to everybody. But the most important thing is to make sure we're not always selling and we're delivering the best products. Now, one of the things I want to do is be able to make a lot more sample products for the customers, which we will end up doing as part of our marketing budget, so that we can get testimonials and get people to try the product before they buy it.
Okay. That's really, I like your concept of not trying to sell all the time. Obviously, a lot of companies in the CBD space are always selling. They're not providing the information and everything that you're doing. So that's a big differentiator for me as well.
Well, I just want to add one more thing in this. It's interesting. People get confused because they get all these spam emails from people about trial offers, which we don't do. They get they get confused over the brands because they don't feel there's a differentiation in the brands. So for us, what's really important is that once we get a customer, we want to keep them, because it doesn't cost us anything to keep a customer, but it costs us a hell of a lot if we can't keep them.
That makes a lot of sense. Nancy, before we get back to Rob,
Sorry, Rob.
I guess we'll get back
No,
to
it's
Rob here.
very good, very good.
Rob, are you still awake? Are you still there with us?
I'm still awake, actually. It's
Okay.
now you can see why we were so excited about this acquisition, though. Just not only Nancy's energy, but the ability to really articulate that the fact that she wants science behind her products, and it's all about the customer and the integrity of the product. That to me was very exciting. I think together we're going to achieve a lot of success. So
That's fabulous. Nancy, as a follow-up on what Rob just said, what caused you to want to have your company, Sera Labs, acquired by CURE Pharmaceutical?
Okay, I could tell you the truth, or I could tell you the story I want to tell. But I had no intention at all, that's the truth, of selling the company.
We can have a version A and a version B.
Right, a
People
version A and
could,
B.
yeah.
So basically, I had somebody called me up and they said, hey, would you ever think of selling your company? And I said, absolutely no. And he says, well, there's this pharmaceutical company out of Oxnard and they are looking to buy a company. I go, well, why don't they just invest in us? And I said, because that's what I'm looking for. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. So they introduced me to Rob, and they basically, and as Rob and I started to develop a relationship, and over the few months, Rob came back and he said, well, my board would really rather buy you. At that point, I realized and got to meet all the people at CURE. And I said, these people are very smart. And I could be with a very smart group of people. And the money that I was looking for, which was $3 to $4 million, if I'm going to be one of the big players in this field, I'm going to need a lot more than that money. And so Rob and I got into major conversations, and then I decided that I would be a lot smarter to be around people who are much smarter than me, for sure.
See, that's not the story I heard, by the way. I heard it was because of my charming personality and my good look.
And you wear the same colors as me.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, seriously, for me, I always tell everybody, it's very important to make sure you surround yourself with people smarter than you. And I've built a great team. My management team is spectacular.
Absolutely.
And very process oriented and very organized. And I feel as if they are all so much better than I am. And I'm supposed to be the team leader and the manager of these people. And I need people that I can learn from also. So I think for me, this is a big challenge. My son said to me, he goes, how are they going to handle you, Mom? That you are actually going to have somebody that's going to tell you what to do. I said, Rob's way too smart to tell me what to do. This is a warning, Rob. It's a warning.
I get that. Absolutely.
Rob, looking at it this way, we're not even letting you talk very much here.
This is great. I have a day off.
I'm thrilled. I just want to add that I'm thrilled. I'm very excited. I had my trepidations about giving up control. I am a control freak, but this is the best interest of the company and my shareholders, and that's what's important.
Okay, that's great. And Rob, Nancy's excited, and I think this is a incredibly intriguing direction for CURE Pharmaceutical. But from the perspective of CURE, you've described this transaction as a game changer for CURE. Can you tell us why, and give us your perspective as to why CURE Pharmaceutical pursued the acquisition of Nancy's company, Sera Labs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's pretty pertinent. And I think Nancy touched on several of those points, actually. The fact that we have technology, we have product lines, and we have the integration, vertical integration between the research and development team and the manufacturing. We don't really have a distribution channel. We don't have the ability to brand. That's not our core expertise. But we do want to have revenue. We want to have our products out there. And the key is, as you know, Jeff, we talked about this in the past, oral thin film is still unknown. There's not a lot of education to the consumer about that. And I think, and as Nancy said, her team, she's got a phenomenal team, by the way, for marketing and branding and process. And, I don't know that side at all. So that's the other reason that was attractive. The ability to take our product line and educate consumers about it and really help and create a better way to deliver even her current products and our products. And when I say deliver, I'm talking about delivering it to the body more effectively, but also delivering it to the consumer more effectively. We have great products, but if it can't get to anyone, what good is it? So this is a great way of not relying on licensing or secondary companies for marketing and branding. We have our own, we have our own subsidiary that's going to do that for us and with us, and we're excited about that.
Okay, that sounds great. And you've indicated to me, Rob, that integrating Sera Labs products and processes with those of CURE Pharmaceuticals will have an impact on economies of scale, margins, and profitability. What can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. Just like you said, I mean, we're going to vertically integrate. We have manufacturing lines going in for Sera Labs products. We'll be able to, keep inventory, be able to ship on time. I mean, I think one of the issues with companies that have brands that are growing exponentially is the reliance on contract manufacturers. That's a difficult process, and you really have to come through. When you start playing with the big box stores and retailers, you have to be on time with inventory. You have to manage it effectively, and quality systems and quality controls. I think all of that integrated, we control our own destiny. I mean, the sky's the limit. We really have blue skies ahead for us.
Okay, that sounds fabulous. You mentioned CureForm, your thin film technology, just briefly.
Yeah.
And a lot of our viewers may not have seen our last video together, and hopefully they'll watch it. But for those that have not, can you tell us about CureForm thin film technology and why you think it'll prove beneficial to Sera Labs with future product directions?
It's not just the thin film technology, but if you imagine what thin film is, it looks like a Listerine strip. However, that's an antiquated technology overall, and I think we discussed this in our earlier videos. We're able to take drug actives, nutraceutical actives, any active ingredient, and put it into a delivery vehicle using thin film technology, and being able to deliver more effectively to the body, right? We're able to get better blood concentrations, less degradation of the active. We have a library of polymer systems that we utilize and encapsulation technology. When I say encapsulation, if you think on a microscopic level, the ability to protect these actives in a sphere, a invisible sphere, if you will, a liposomal sphere you can see under a microscope, actually protecting the molecule from degradation and also increasing that bioavailability of the active. I just want to touch on a point. About 2 weeks ago, we announced a study on CBD, and we did a comparison analysis to prove our point. We did a CBD independent study, human pharmacokinetic bioequivalency study. It's in a press release. And we did a study on thin film delivering CBD with a specialized encapsulation technology, as we discussed, versus a soft gel pill, which was a liquid soft gel pill. And overwhelmingly and statistically significantly, our Tmax and Cmax, meaning the time to getting the active in the blood and at a certain concentration level, was far greater than using a soft gel or a pill. So that's very exciting. It proves the point. If it's for patients, it's for consumers. They know they're getting the ingredient. They know they're getting an efficacious product, and that's really important to us.
Okay, Nancy, I want to come back to one thing with you. Ultimately, revenues make the world go round. And Nancy, it sounds like you're growing exponentially, and it sounds like under the CURE umbrella, that'll, hopefully provide you with the ability to even expand revenues many more times than that. But can you give us any preview of coming attractions? And I know there's no guarantees as to what you're looking at on revenues, say for the rest of the year or even first quarter next year, Nancy.
Well, I've been told by the accountants, I can't talk about forward-looking statements, but let me just tell you that for Q2, we did $1.8 million plus another $1.7 million in non-CBD products. So we did $3.5 million in Q2, and that's without any marketing dollars except what we put back into the company internally ourselves. The fact that CURE is going to be giving us $4 million of marketing and growth money, and and most of that is going towards marketing, then an inventory. What it does for us, it gives us the ability to spend more money on advertising, on radio spots, on TV commercials, to really create a brand that everybody knows. So we expect revenues to really jump through, and really increase exponentially what we did in the second quarter. So for us, we're super excited about that. And I just want to make one comment back to what Rob said. I think that for us, having CURE manufacture and vertically integrate all of our manufacturing needs, at least it'll take a whole year for all of our products to be vertically integrated. But we've already earmarked a few different products they can start with. We feel that what that will do is it will increase our gross margins and really put us in a whole different light as far as profitability and EBITDA, because we are expecting fourth quarter to be EBITDA positive for us, which is very exciting.
That's great. That's great. Thanks for that, because ultimately, when people look at companies, it comes down to numbers. So, Rob, Nancy just alluded to some of the things that were likely to happen under the CURE Pharmaceutical umbrella, coming up. But how do you see CURE Pharmaceutical for the first year or so after you complete the acquisition of Nancy's company, Sera Labs?
Well, so that's a good question. As you know, we have multiple verticals, and this is really focused in the health and wellness vertical with the acquisition. And we expect exponential growth in revenues. That's what we expect over the next 12 months, which is very exciting for us. And distribution of our OTF products, both in retail as well as direct to the consumers.
Okay, OTF being what?
Oral thin film technology.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
And Jeff, I'd like to jump in for a second and just say that one of the things that we were very excited about with CURE were the thin strips. We have taken a whole marketing approach and we're repackaging all 4 of the products, their thin strip products, in sleep, vitamin D, energy and recovery. We've created, I think, magnificent packaging. We've come up with new names for each of them. We actually even got trademarked a great name for the strips, NutriStrips. We were shocked that nobody else had that name. And so we're going to create packaging that really makes it stand out on the shelf. And what this does, products that go into our health and wellness section, it gives us better leverage and a bigger and a broader breadth of where we can sell products to, because there's a lot of retailers who won't take CBD products, but they will take health and wellness products that have unique delivery systems and have money behind them to advertise and drive retail sell-through.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. Rob, as we wrap up here, any thoughts, final thoughts from your side that you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, we're very excited about this acquisition. We're excited to get our products into distribution with Nancy's team and Nancy's expertise in branding and direct to consumer and retail approach. That's something we've been looking to do for a long time now, and the time has come. So there's an inflection point in the company, and then look for good things ahead on the pharmaceutical side, as well as some of the clinical studies that we are engaged in Israel for cannabis.
Okay. Nancy, as a follow-up on that, any final thoughts you'd like to leave our viewers with?
I just want to say that for us, being with, like I said before, these guys are much smarter than I am. I listened to Rob. It was like, whew, let me go over my head here with some of those things. But I think that you've got a team of people on our side that really know how to execute. Our operations team, our systems that we have in place are really spectacular. And then with all the brilliance of the CURE team, I think combined is such a great marriage. And I'm very, very excited about where we can go with revenues and growth. And I think that the most important thing is culturally we fit. So I think that when you have an M&A deal taking place, one of the biggest problems that people have is, will we fit culturally? Everybody's in love, you're dating, you're romance, everybody's romancing each other. I think that they've already seen me, get on my you know, on my high horse on things that I think are the right way to do things. And I think that that this is a perfect marriage for us, because they really stay in their, they stay in the science side. They really understand that, and they, like us, know what they do best and what they can't do. And that's the problem with a lot of companies. You get people who think they know how to do everything, and we know what we can't do also. And that's really comes with maturity and experience, as knowing what you don't know and you can't do. And I love the fact that these guys can do everything that we can't do.
Well, that's great. It seems like a marriage made in heaven. Actually,
My husband thinks so. That's what he says.
oh, okay. I'm glad I'm in good company in making that statement. Look, Rob and Nancy, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here today. I'm going to be following the company and the progress, of course, and I'm sure many of our viewers will as well, especially as CURE Pharmaceutical's acquisition of Nancy's company, Sera Labs, gets completed. We're also going to be providing contact information so that anyone wanting to discuss CURE Pharmaceutical or who has any questions whatsoever can contact the company, as well as the form. And we'll provide information for the websites, of course, for both CURE Pharmaceutical and Sera Labs. To you, our viewers, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, bye.
Bye, thanks.